Many companies are migrating to Office 365 and cybercriminals are paying attention. More and more socially engineered attacks target real estate, construction, and engineering industries by tricking your customers into sending money to fraudulent accounts. What's worse is that these tactics bypass traditional email security solutions and Microsoft's native protections. In today's discussion, I will discuss the 5 reasons cybercriminals are attacking the real estate and construction industry and what measures you can take to improve your email security. I will also walk you through tactics attackers use to target these industries. During this session, we'll take a look at why the real estate and construction industries are considered a gold mine for cybercriminals, the types of attacks and the most prevalent attack types the industry is currently facing, and how to protect your end users using AI. So why is this a prime target? Attackers are targeting the industry for a number of reasons. For starters, these industries deal with large and frequent money transfers, and a lot of this money moves across communication channels and oftentimes passes through or to external parties. This creates an opportunity for an attacker to jump in and hijack the information they need. Not to say the IT services they use aren't good, but because employees have a lot of freedom and access to sensitive financial and personal information that will fetch a hefty sum on the black market. Attackers can insert themselves and use the techniques like impersonation and account takeover to deceive a party in the transition to get a wire transfer. Any employee in this industry is an attractive target, unlike other industries where an attacker will hone in on a specific department. Fact is, in these industries, all employees have access to sensitive data and are easy to target. And these are facts we're seeing come to life. The FBI came out with a report specifically on the real estate sector. BEC and EAC hackers are heavily targeting real estate, including title companies, law firms, real estate agents, and buyers and sellers. Not to mention news headlines. Hackers allegedly steal $1.5 million from a DC couple. Also, scammers lurking in an email thread take $379,000 in a couple's Oregon dream home. All you need to do is Google search and you'll find tons of examples of successful attacks against the real estate sector, causing people to lose savings and cause financial damage. So let's go a little more in depth. Large, frequent money transfers. Your customers deal with large amounts of money on a regular basis. For example, title companies receive escrows. Law firms facilitate wire transfers. Maybe engineering firms need payments from contractors, outside vendors, and suppliers. If you're a real estate management firm, you need to collect rent on a regular basis. Each transaction, at a minimum, is thousands of dollars, and quite often tens of thousands or even millions. For any attacker, that's a great payout. And what we're seeing is the average real estate firm gets targeted multiple times by impersonating vendors and employees, attackers trying to insert themselves into transactions. This is not a surprise when the payoffs are huge. The FBI released new statistics on total damages from businesses and emails compromised, attacks going after wire transfers, a grand total of $12 billion lost in the last 4 years. Compared to ransomware spamming, numbers are off the charts in the amount of success attackers have had. And it doesn't end there. There's been a solid increase of 136% in the past 2 years. If the price tag of the money in question isn't enough to shake you, consider the price of your private information. Real estate and engineering firms are prime targets because they have a lot of sensitive data. This is a short list of data these firms have: tax returns, social security numbers, bank accounts, blueprints, financial history, and information about vendors and contractors. A lot of information about vendor contracts. All this information has its value. The easiest way to cash that value in the case of an attacker is to sell it off. If you can get, for example, into a brokerage firm and steal all the financial information of clients the firm has possession of, sophisticated hackers will then use that information to further impersonate targets and may even use extortion or blackmail. The frequency of communications just adds to the opportunity for these kinds of attacks to happen. There's many parties involved in these firms. Within a firm, there are many employees. Within cross firms, buyers, sellers, and contractors, etc., each individual could be attacked. If I'm an attacker, I can go after your customers helping with the transactions, the contractor, the agent, buyer, seller, or title company. I can impersonate anyone, then I can impersonate the most important people. Email, for example, is built on human trust, a point which hackers take advantage of. I could easily take advantage of a contextual communication or intercept at a key moment. Take, for example, I'm a buyer and I'm about to buy building materials and I've talked to my supplier several times. Right before the final transaction, I get an email from them to wire the money. I won't be suspicious because it seems legitimate. What I don't pick up on is that my money is being siphoned off to the wrong source. A lot of people, even with high security awareness, fall for these schemes. Again and again, I state all employees are targets. This is getting into economic incentive of attackers. If you're trying to hack and steal money from a company and only one person dealing with wire transfers is the CEO, it's a lot harder to hack that company. The CFO or CEO is getting a lot of attempted hacks and are more aware of problems. With a security team like your MSP, keeping an eye on it, it's harder to successfully hack. Within a real estate, engineering, and construction companies, all employees are targets. Hackers go after the weakest link, not the CFO, but any agent dealing with third-party vendors. It's way easier insertion point, and you can get access to high amount of sensitive information. It's easier for attackers in these industries than other industries. What this all really sits on is relaxed security standards. It's not because MSPs aren't doing its job, it's because a lot of your end users have discretion and autonomy in these industries. In construction firms, employees are out in the field and need to be able to talk to outside contractors on a daily basis and facilitate payments. The IT service team cannot investigate every payment. Autonomy brings danger, creates holes. One specific example is agents using their personal emails for work, a common practice in construction. Personal emails are susceptible to hackers with weak passwords and lacking advanced security systems. Even corporate email can have its failing points when IT cannot enforce strong policies. There is not a standard security awareness training. A lot of firms we talk to cannot implement security awareness policies unless it's simple and regimented. Different people in firms set up their own email systems, like in brokerage firms where agents spin up their own marketing automation systems or sales tracking tools and send emails from there. That's great for business and bringing in more revenue, but it's problematic from the email security standpoint because they're sending emails from the domain of the company through third-party tools IT doesn't know about or have control over. This makes firms more likely to be spoofed and impersonated because it's harder to set up email authentication like DMARC or SPF or DKIM. It's something common for large firms where it's hard to get a hold of third-party senders implemented by employees. Let's move on to specific types of attacks. Email account takeover, which is the cause of lots of losses in the real estate sector. I'll give you an autonomy of this attack by explaining why this attack works and why it's hard to intercept with existing email security systems. Finally, I'll talk about what you can do to stop these attacks. You're probably familiar with email account takeover, which is where an attacker steals the credentials of an employee in your firm. Either because they phished the emails or the employee is using a weak password, or the credentials were stolen on another website. In any case, with account takeover, that employee's credentials are hacked and the attacker logs in as that employee and does various nefarious activities like sending emails to customers, clients, or third-party firms as that employee. These attacks are hard to stop because they are from the real employee's email account. They're not impersonating someone from the outside because they're in your network. It's harder to stop because the email header will appear normal. It'll come from the real email without spoofing. It's hard to spot. Here's a sense of the autonomy of these attacks. The first step is external infiltration. The common way is through phishing by emails employee with DocuSign or Microsoft email, for example, to lead them into a fake login page to input their credentials, and then the attackers take a hold of their username and password. The next step is scouting and observation. Just getting across to an account is extremely valuable because you can learn a ton of what's going on, what deals are taking place, who's working who's their customers, suppliers, and vendors. They then use that information to launch attacks. Next step beyond that is internal harvesting. An attacker will steal one employee's credentials and then send a blast email to thousands of employees in the firm with another phishing email, but it's through internal communication, unscanned, so it's delivered in the hundreds of employees and compromised. Finally, the monetization, and in case of the real estate firm, by using the account to impersonate one of the employees and then potentially divert wire transfers and make sure it goes to an attacker's bank account instead of the intended account. So external infiltration. It all starts with a fake sign-in page. Email administrators see this on a daily basis. A lot of customers ask why Office 365 doesn't stop these emails automatically, and because of these emails use zero-day links, so the links used are often legitimate websites that have been compromised, so they don't appear on blacklists and have a high reputation. That's why these emails get through. Also, the email themselves might be sent by a third-party compromised account, so the sender email address might also have a high reputation appear in an employee mailbox. Then comes the data gathering. The most common ways include logging in remotely, maybe in a foreign country. It's easier to stop if looking at IP logs, but smarter attackers use a VPN to make it harder to track. Setting up a forwarding rule. This allows hackers to read all emails that the compromised employee would have received. It's valuable because they can gain a lot of info by sitting on the account, running a script, by sending internal external email with a script to delete the email from the compromised employee sent folder or to delete the response emails so the employee has no idea they've been compromised. Next step is harvesting more internal credentials. These harvesting emails look like normal phishing emails, but are sent internally, which makes them harder to catch. Microsoft wouldn't inspect these emails, for example, so they land in your employees' mailboxes undetected. Employees can also open corrupt emails from other employees. Monetization. I think I've talked about this a bit, but the most sophisticated ones will try to impersonate employees and get in a deal to divert money elsewhere. Some attacks are less relevant to the real estate industry because you are high-value targets. In lower-value industries like education, attackers will just steal accounts to use as vehicles to send phishing emails to other firms. If you see an email from a legit university domain, it's often a compromised email with an attacker using the university as a launching pad for phishing with a high reputation sender. The problem is that traditional email security fails at every step. Office 365, for example, is bad at catching external infiltration because they look at IP reputation and link reputation, but other emails are coming from other accounts with high reputation. Scouting and harvesting internal credentials aren't stopped because they aren't scanning internal emails. Other traditional email solutions like competitors are sitting as a gateway by inspecting outbound but not internal email. People assume once an account is internal, it's trusted, so they don't look at the nefarious activity the account might be doing. Traditional email gateway solutions require diverting your AMX record through a security system, and the email security system will filter the emails and deliver the legitimate emails to your mail system like Office 365. The problem is that internal emails don't go through the gateway and at any point being routed internally, so even if the gateway was extremely smart, it wouldn't even see or be able to block internal traffic, and that is a big problem. It's why these attacks are successful, and attackers understand that it's why they're investing in an account takeover. So let's discuss how to fix this problem. First, let's look at how some existing companies in real estate sector are trying to deal with attacks. Let's highlight an end user, Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group, who have allowed us to share their internal account takeover checklist. First, they've changed the password of the affected account after they get an employee email asking them to check out an email. If they identify a suspicion of takeover, they'll change the password, disconnect active sessions, and scan for rules in Outlook. Then they'll run a script to delete internal phishing emails and submit phishing email to Microsoft and security vendors. They'll scan the computer again and then contact internal and external recipients to manually tell them an attack occurred. It's a comprehensive list, but I imagine many of you see this as a lot of work and don't have the time or the resources to do this entire checklist. We've bucketed these by first locking down the account. The second one is preventing future attacks and cleanup. The last one is communication. We can actually help you automate these processes. The first four here, we can help with our AI by detecting attacks automatically, so you don't have to wait for an employee to report them and detects them before it spreads. We can also help you remediate these attacks without having to run your scripts and automatically detect a weird forwarding rule for better visibility. We can help you identify affected employees automatically and help you solve some of these problems. The goal here is security to prevent you from having your name involved in these high-profile breaches and hacks. There's also an operation aspect. Many real estate firms have IT teams dealing with these attacks and nothing else, so a lot of this is about automating these processes to make it easier for your IT security team to not spend your entire week on phishing. Barracuda has a comprehensive suite of solutions for this. Our gateway solution is getting better at identifying these attacks. We also have a security awareness solution to train your employees. But today I'll focus on Barracuda Sentinel in this webinar. It's our AI-based solution detected to these attacks we've discussed today, particularly business email compromise attacks, spear phishing, and account takeover. One of the newest products, Sentinel, uses artificial intelligence to stop spear phishing attacks. Gateway defenses usually miss these types of attacks without a payload, malicious attachment. This is done by applying machine learning techniques to build a model of what a good email from a specific user is likely to look like. Why is this important to you? It means that important emails get through when they're supposed to, while spear phishing attacks get stopped in their tracks. Sentinel detects both account takeover attempts and attacks launched from compromised accounts. By analyzing both historical and inbound data, Sentinel is able to identify behavioral, content, and link forwarding anomalies within your organization and to flag and quarantine fraudulent emails. Sentinel also offers an intuitive wizard to help you easily set up DMARC, domain message authentication, reporting, and confirmation, authentication for your customers. DMARC is a protocol that allows you to monitor emails sent from a customer's domain. We don't just say we have partner-first approach. We do whatever we can to understand what you need from your vendors. As a partner, you'll also get exclusive access to our partner toolkit, which is packed with resources. A searchable knowledge base for fast troubleshooting and resolution, our library of sales and marketing enablement materials where you can find rebrandable presentations, email campaigns, and collateral. And because we're constantly enhancing our platform, the partner toolkit gets refreshed regularly. Our partners also have access to Barracuda Campus, a portal for self-service certification and training curriculum for technicians and sales reps alike. Onboarding materials are also housed in our Barracuda Campus. From the time of onboarding and beyond, we are committed to our partner success. You'll find that you have a dedicated partner success manager and account manager to help ensure that you are positioned for success. And we have an exclusive community open to partners, which is a great resource for education, trading, best practices, and networking. Why do we care what this means for you, the MSP? Because Barracuda MSP focuses purely on MSPs. Our flexible solutions allow you to pick and choose which products are the best fit for you and your clients. This allows you to put their needs first and know you have the best products in the industry to offer them. We are focused on you, our partners. Your success is our main focus. Every product is priced for you to not only be able to offer the best products in the industry, but for a price that makes it easy for you to make money. Lastly, but not least, is next steps. What should you do about this? Generally speaking, we recommend reviewing your customer security posture. Are you securing yourself against account takeover and business email compromise? These are two biggest forms of attacks against real estate firms. Do you feel like you have adequate defenses? What are your current internal processes in place? If you'd like to understand better how to protect against these attacks, contact us. We have a free Office 365 vulnerability scan at barracudamsp.com/scan. It's really cool and it's free. It goes back in time and runs our AI against your account to tell if Barracuda was in place then. These are the attacks we could have caught. It's free, so it's pretty nice. I recommend checking it out. And thanks everyone for a great presentation today.